Mabuhay! March is the International Women's Month. It's an annual celebration honoring the contribution of women to our history, culture, and society. Here in Winnipeg, one young woman is doing just that. Her name is Aira Fusilero Villanueva. She is the founder of EWaste Manitoba and Fusilero. Hi Aira, kamusta?
Hello po. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, same here. Thank you so much for coming. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Aira Fusilero Villanueva. I am a 23-year-old florist. I'm also a teacher, and I love to be outdoors and forage mushrooms on my spare time. I am Ilocano, so I was born and raised in Pangasinan, in the northern part of the Philippines, and we moved here when I was 10. And ever since then, I've been fascinated with botany, so the study of plants, and also mycology, the study of mushrooms. So
yeah. I was kind of amazed at the same time, kind of confused because on your background it says science, you're a scientist, or more like a lot of interest in science. Is that how it is?
Yeah, so I studied Bachelor's of Science at the University of Winnipeg. So my background is in science, and I also have a background in education. So right now I teach grade 9 high school students about science and all sorts of things too, like English, social studies.
Yeah, you might think that Aira here is like, she's very young. She has all this in her sleeves, but you're only...
I'm 23.
23 years old, my gosh. Like, my daughter, all those 22-year-old, what are you doing, guys? She's 23 and she's doing all this. But that's really interesting. But tell me about, like, how did you start having interest? Is this back in the Philippines when you had interest in flowers and science?
Yeah, so I grew up in a farm village in Pangasinan, in Alcala, and I grew up with my relatives and my grandparents. All of us farmed. Every season we would farm corn, palay is rice, and all sorts of vegetables. So I grew up in a community where we are learning from the land, and we take care of each other through connecting with the environment. And so I grew up climbing trees. You know, every morning we would run around and look for things to do outside. We would be playing outside even though it's raining, and we would collect some dragonflies. So that's how I grew up, and my grandparents and my aunts have orchids obsession. And so I naturally became obsessed with orchids as well, and plants and flowers. And that's how I grew up since 10. So from 0 to 10 I was there, and that's how life was like. And then every February we would go to Baguio for the Panagbenga Festival. And the Panagbenga Festival is the festival for flowers, and it's really, there's so many flowers all over Baguio, and that really got me inspired into creating art using flowers.
Wow, so tell me about, like, now and your interest in flowers. So when did you started having it as an actual, like when you decided, like, I'm actually going to do this as a business? When did you thought of that?
Yeah, so Lourdes Federis, the name of the business, started off in a really unique way. I would say very unique from other businesses. So I started when I was 20 years old. I was fundraising for the typhoon victims in the Philippines, and I wanted to be creative in ways to fundraise. So I started making bouquets to sell, and all of the proceeds went back to the Philippines to help with the typhoon victims. And that's how it started off, as a fundraising effort. And people requested, friends and family requested for me to create bouquets for them for Valentine's and Mother's Day. So I started off like that, and then later on, I just continue and kept doing it. And now I do it basically when I'm not doing my other things that I'm doing, which is teaching high school students.
Wow. So how did you find being a business owner different from teaching?
It's quite the same, honestly. It's connecting with people, collaborating, and making sure that everybody's needs are met. So with flowers, it's different because, for example, for Valentine's, I do everything. I don't have a big team. It's just me, and sometimes my family helps as well. So I do the ordering of the flowers, I condition the flowers, and then I create the bouquets and deliver them sometimes too. So everything from step 1 to 10 it's me who create that magic. And then in terms of teaching, I teach from 8 to 3:30, or 9 to 3:30. So from that time, I'm speaking and teaching and doing hands-on work with the students, but it ends at 3:30. Whereas the flower business, there's so much more that's happening, and sometimes during Valentine's Day, you get like 3 hours of sleep because you have to fulfill all the orders. Yeah. So
I think what's interesting and what's the common thing here is you're also kind of creating something out of nothing, or seeing something grow out of, from a buds, like how you nourish the students, right?
Yeah, when I was teaching, we started off with relationship building and getting to know one another, and now I'm pushing them and challenging them to do more things. So right now, my students are doing climate actions projects for April, which is Earth Month.
So speaking about climate actions, now tell me about EWaste Manitoba.
Yeah, so when I was in university, I was looking into scholarships and how to pay for my tuition. I'm Ilocano, so we're known to be kuripot.
Kuripot is how you tell, it's like kind of more tight than money.
Yeah, very frugal.
Frugal.
Yeah, so
frugal
Ilocanos are frugal, or at least my family. So I'm always constantly figuring ways to find scholarships, and one of that was to create a climate action in terms of electronic waste and diverting e-waste from the landfill. So back in the day, like 3 years ago, I was collecting e-waste during COVID, actually. So people would be dropping off their old electronics, computer, printers, TVs that are like super thick from the 1970s.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. And some of them that are still refurbishable, we refurbished and donated to students and nonprofit organizations who needed them during COVID.
This was at Tyndall, right? When
Yes.
you had that, it's like a collection drive for people to bring in their electronic, their non-usable, to be recycled. Right? And that was a wonderful initiative. And was there any follow-up after that?
Yeah, the e-waste has been such a great project. And from that e-waste campaign, I was able to be one of the panelists for when the Deputy Prime Minister came here. So I was able to speak on the federal level on why e-waste is important, and we need to learn about that. And I'm constantly bringing my lived experience in the classroom too. So I'm teaching about e-waste and other projects that I love and I'm passionate about to my students. So that's what I'm doing now, is I'm teaching students rather than collecting in person.
So you're still doing what you're very passionate about through, this is reaching through education.
Yeah.
So which is very necessary if you really want to create that change. What was your students like? What do you think about? What do they think about it?
I think they see me as an example, and I always tell them you are capable of a lot of things, and don't feel that you're at your age you can't do, you can't make change in the world, and you can create impacts. And giving my examples, they're able to realize too that they too can create something similar as well, and they are already doing something similar too. So I'm very proud. Yeah.
That is amazing. Like you are so inspiring. Like what you are doing right now at your age, and you've done some phenomenal things too. Previously, a couple years back, you got nominated the Balangay Awards.
Yes,
right?
yes, that one too. I was nominated for the EWaste campaign for the Golden Balangay Award.
And also a Dalagira. So I really see that this is something that you wanted to pursue. Like, you're very bold in your advocacy, because there are people who, who have this passion, but they just keep it to themselves. And but it's nice to see those people who are really taking action, like when they can feel that the thing that they wanted to do, especially something as this cause, very worthy cause, and they do it even though they have very limited resources. So what was the challenges while you were doing all of this? Like the most difficult part of, say, start with being a florist or a business owner, what's the most challenging part of that?
I think the most challenging part, I would say, is finding mentors and resources to begin. Also the finance as well. And I'm glad to have parents who are really supportive of everything that I've done, from EWaste Manitoba to Winnipeg Mushroom Hunter, which I do during summer, and Lourdes Federis. They've been really helpful. But yeah, it's challenging to find your networks who see the value in what you see. Yes. But I also have a lot of great friends who have supported me, like Carla and other mentors that I have. So yeah, I think sometimes it's me too. Like I have a fight with myself, like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, nakakahiya that I'm asking for favors. And yeah, it's a constant battle in my inner monologue and time.
Yeah.
Well, I started this during COVID and during my university, while I was completing my university degree.
Yeah.
So finding time, that's my final answer. The most challenging is finding the time to do everything that I want to do.
Well, that's amazing. It just shows your character. Because other people will say, money, other people will say, there's hierarchy, right? Pero I'm sure that is also an issue, but your focus is not there. Your focus is more on, I wish I have, 48 hours a day.
Yeah.
But which is, you can tell really that you are a very positive person. And that's where you were able to accomplish a lot of things, because your focus is not on your limitation. You're not limiting yourself on what you can do. You're limited by things that you cannot control, right? And a lot of things that are within your control doesn't bother you at all, right? So I think if you're because when you speak about mentor, just coming a little bit about myself, so it's something that will help you like really ahead in the future. Then you're doing the right thing. Like, don't focus on your weaknesses, on your challenges. Just continue doing what you're doing, and eventually you'll get there. And I see that where your passion, like I'm sure you can see the pattern, like from loving flowers to science, and then you're going out and getting bigger and bigger. So where do you see Aira in the future?
Where do I see Aira in the future? I want to be able to do what I did when I was younger. When I was younger, I was always out into the nature and helping out with the farm. Yeah. So I really want to go back and connect and I've asked my parents too for some help. My goal and dream is to have a farm in the Philippines, and to have a tilapia farm and lots of fruiting trees around the farm. So that's where I see myself in the future, is to have my own farm in the Philippines. But to also, you know, have a flower shop in Winnipeg, like a physical flower shop at the cultivation Filipino district, which is hopefully happening soon, is for the Filipino to have their own district. And yeah, I think, what else do I see myself?
So you got that for your own personal, for your business. And how about for any future plans right now, like in the coming months? Do you have any upcoming events? You just had one recently, and congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I organized an event at the Leaf at the Assiniboine Park, in collaboration with Assiniboine Park Conservancy, and we had it as a closing celebration for their exhibit called Flora of the Philippines. So Flora of the Philippines was a 2.5 month long exhibit showcasing Philippine orchids and flowers. And so yeah, we had an event. It was called 7,000 plus islands, kalikasan, kultura at kapwa. And we had so many Filipino organization who came to perform. We had singers, musicians, martial artists, and dancers who came from all various ages. Like we had Tita Aida's group, who was part of the Filipino seniors group, who came and showcased Sinulog Festival and Ati-Atihan dance. And yeah, it was such a great event to showcase our rich and dynamic culture in the Philippines. So it felt like I was traveling all across islands, seeing the different cultures in each archipelago in each island.
Wow.
Yeah. From Baguio, like from the BBAC Association, to Ati-Atihan and Sinulog down south in the Philippines. It was really cool, and I wish we can host more events like that. To answer the first question, in the future, because it's Winnipeg Jazz Fest coming up in June, I'm hoping to create an event for Filipino jazz. That's the next event.
Easy. Everybody's a singer in the Philippines. So we love karaoke. That's not even it's not even a challenge. Like you can just just whoever wants to sing, come here. Yeah. Everybody's just gonna run in there. Yeah.
I want to showcase the Filipino artists here who are really making a name for themselves in the jazz industry, like Juvel, for example, and Joyce Colada. So I'm excited for the Filipino jazz in June.
Well, I can say you're excited about everything in your future. I'm beginning to be excited for you as well.
Thank you.
So like there's really a lot of things that we're going to be looking forward to Aira here. And anything that you want to say, like inspire all those, I'll say still young, like I'm not that young anymore, but a lot of women, like specifically this month, are wanted to look up to some people that are, will inspire them in their future, especially the youth right now, the young Filipina who pretty much grew up here and kind of still trying to find their identity, right? You came here when you were 10, and was that a challenge for you? And how were you able to overcome it? And what will be your message to all those young women out there?
Like I've said before, I grew up in a farming village. We didn't have a lot of the opportunities that I have now. And that live experience of being there really helped me create the life that I want here in Canada. So all of the opportunities that was there, I kind of grabbed everything because I know that other people, like in my place, that doesn't have that opportunity. So always thinking about that, and I try to go there every year too to see my families. yeah, constantly thinking that really helped me see the value of trying everything. Everything that you're interested in and curious about, try, because what else is gonna happen? Just, I don't know, make a few mistakes and fail, but that's also cool. That's also fun. Failing is also fun, and you learn a lot from that as well. So, yeah, that's kind of my my suggestions, if you will, to people who are watching this.
So if you were talk to little Aira, what would you want to say to them? Or those those girls that are growing up and still trying to find what they wanted to do? Like, you have done so much at for your age, 23-year-old. But so what can you say for those other young women out there so they can be empowered and be successful as you are?
Oh, successful. I think what I want to say is to continue to be curious and to continue to learn various things that you are passionate about. If that's music, continue to do that. There's so many opportunities to get free music, for example. There's so many resources online. So really use all of that to find out the answers. I know I had so many questions when I started the business, and I just looked them up on Google, and so all of the answers is there. You just have to keep looking for them and be okay of failures, because that's also part of the process, and it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I want to tell my younger self.
Maraming salamat, Aira. It was
Thank
very
you.
inspiring. And I know most of our audience right now, especially our women out there, we're celebrating all the women out there, whether you're young and old, whatever you've come this far, or you're starting out, or you're finishing your race. There's always a reason to celebrate, because we are all part of this world, and we have to celebrate life. So maraming salamat again,
Thank
Aira,
you
for coming.
Thank you po.
And thank you so much for watching. And ako po si Lourdes Federis of Mabuhay TV and you Multicultural Channel. Hanggang sa susunod, ang kita-kita po ulit tayo.
Thanks, ate.